He was a Ferrari driver for the years before that, and now he's been reduced to driving the Ligier, which at one time was a super successful car, but this year has been absolutely horrible and has failed to qualify for quite a few of these races, which for a driver of Stefan's ability is probably pretty hard to swallow.
Getting closer and closer to the finish of the 1988 Belgian Grand Prix at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And there's our new Ligier off to the right of your picture there. We look down
I think that's Stefan.
towards the
I think that's Stefan. He's pulled up at Eau Rouge.
Yeah.
Mumbling in Swedish to himself.
He's saying something in
looking back at the car in fond way, probably.
Swedish, I guess.
Yeah.
And here's Senna.
It's only just in front of Chiva, who we saw lap. We saw him lapping a lap ago.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I mean, he's really taking it easy. He doesn't want to run into any trouble with his tyres. The tyre situation has probably eased in the last lap because suddenly, although the sun's shining on the cars here, the cloud has built up quite a lot, so the temperature's probably dropped on the track surface quite a few degrees. On the cars here, the cloud has built up quite a lot, so the temperature's probably dropped on the track surface quite a few degrees in the last couple of laps.
Think of these McLarens, David. 11 for 11.
Pretty discouraging for the rest of the group.
You know, in the history of motorsport, no one-make car has won every race all year long, and it looks like this is going to keep going throughout the rest of the season.
Well, I have some news for you. I was speaking to, there's Jonathan Palmer in the Tyrrell, the Courtaulds Tyrrell, pulled up. Has he pulled up, or has he just slid off and is coming back again now? It's hard to tell.
It doesn't seem like he has any motation.
No, it doesn't look like it. I can't tell exactly where he is. No, he's not going to go in there.
It may stop in the apex of the corner.
He's going to get in the way as much as he possibly can, because Senna, I know where he is now. Senna will be arriving on JP's tail any moment. I believe he's just round the next corner. Senna serenely going on his way to another, as you say, 11th win of the year from the McLarens. In fact, first and second most times out, and of course on the pole for every race between the two of them, except the British Grand Prix where Berger snatched the pole.
This is Senna's 75th Grand Prix start, a 73rd Grand Prix start, and his 25th pole position, his 9th of the year. Now that tied the record set by jointly held by Juan Manuel Fangio and the late Jim Clark. Mr. Senna is going to etch himself into racing's record books in a very positive way.
He certainly is. He's going to end up with by far the most pole positions, because there's no reason at all why he shouldn't garner the next 4 or 5 races as well. Maybe Prost will put... Maybe the Ferraris at Monza would just... Somehow Monza brings out the best in the Ferraris. Maybe Berger will manage to sweep the pole position there. We don't know. But Honda have done this before, you know. Back in 1966, I was talking to Jack Brabham this very day. He and his teammate Denny Hulme won 14 out of 15 Formula 2 races using the Formula 2 Honda engine on their debut in world-class car racing as opposed to motorbike racing.
Well, Ayrton Senna now is heading for the checkered flag at this beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit, and look at this.
Letting Eddie Cheever
almost let Cheever go back by. He must be concerned about his tires.
He may be concerned about fuel too, because he got that new pop-up valve, right before the start of the race, which he didn't have time to do any laps of the door. And I had heard that the high consumption cars, the high power cars, were just a bit doubtful on fuel here, because there's 2 places here on this circuit where you've got long uphill pulls and you're using a lot of fuel on those uphill runs. So maybe he's just been very conservative with his fuel.
150 liters is the maximum amount of fuel these turbo cars are allowed. Now, for those of you in the United States who don't know what a liter is a quart and a martini.
A quart and a martini.
And here's that
martini last night. Haywire on center. Coming into Stavolo. That
great rhythm.
Notice
how little he moves the steering wheel.
No.
Such sensitive machine there.
The car, of course, is absolutely unsurpassed. This McLaren, the design, the basic weight, the balance, the aerodynamic balance of the car, the power, the whole thing is just the most perfect package. I'd just love to get behind the wheel of one of those just to see what it really does feel like. It must be wonderful to drive.
We asked Don Dennis just before the race started if there were any news about his plans to perhaps come to Indianapolis, and he smiled and said, "We review everything at all times." Want to keep his options open, I guess. And here it is. Roland Brinson ride. The checkered flag, and there's Team McLaren, their 11th win in 11 starts, totally monopolizing the 1988 Formula One series. Look at these. Well, they're not going to go around one more time. They probably wouldn't make it, fuel being in short supply as it is.
Alex Caffey and the Dallara there, leading home Alan Prost. Alan Prost will take yet another second spot, keep himself in and drop to second place in the World Championship standings for the first time this year.
If Boutsen gets across the line without trouble, why, he'll move into 4th place in the championship ahead of Alboreto, who retired just a little bit earlier.
And here we see Boots going through the last blanchiment, about 185, 190 miles an hour, up into the chicane for the last time, around the bus stop, over the curb there just a little bit on his left, swings through the chicane, and he's about to take the checkered flag to come third in his home Grand Prix. He'll be pretty happy with that, I should think. That'll be the 4th time that Thierry, in fact, has come third this year.
Well, he's showing great talent, and of course, what better place than to have a high finish than his home racetrack.
With a strong possibility driving for the Williams-Renault team next year, a good possibility that, of course, Thierry would win one of these races.
Well, he's signed the contract. That's more than a good possibility. It's a fact. There's the Brazilian flag, and the unofficial results here, Ayrton Senna, the winner. Alain Prost, second. Cars 12 and 11. The Marlboro McLaren. Thierry Boutsen, there you see him in 3rd place in car 20. The Benetton Ford. His teammate, Alessandro Nannini, in car number 19. We have the McLaren team 1 and 2. The Benetton team 3 and 4. And in 5th position was Ivan Capelli in the Leighton House March. And in 6th place is Nelson Piquet in the Camel Lotus Honda. There are your standings. The winning time, 1 minute, 28 seconds, 149 thousandths. We'll be back for more. As Ayrton Senna of Brazil savors his 7th victory of the year, David Hobbs and John Vizignano have to share the honors in the pick 6 with 15 points apiece, picking Senna and Prost to finish 1st and 2nd. No other points there. Your host here has a big goose egg when Gerhard Berger went out and Prost did not win and Senna did not finish. Congratulations, David and John. You can argue over the first prize a little bit later on. And so round 11 of the 1988 Formula One season is over with, and the unofficial point standings show Ayrton Senna stepping up there on the podium with 75 points. Alain Prost, his teammate to his right there, is second with 72, and Austrian Gerhard Berger is third. There's Senna in the middle, Prost on the left, and Boutsen on the right. Jean-Marie Balestre, the president of the Fédération Internationale du Sport Auto, on the right, as well as the FIA, as the national anthem. The Hino Nacional of Brazil is...
Victory then in the Belgian Grand Prix for Ayrton Senna, his 7th of the year, and second, his McLaren teammate Alain Prost. Third in the Benetton, the Belgian Thierry Boutsen, ahead of his teammate Alessandro Nannini. 5th in the March, Ivan Capelli. In 6th position, Nelson Piquet in the Lotus. And 7th, Derek Warwick. 9th, Martin Brundle on his return to Grand Prix racing.